Hey, today I'm going to be talking about my 10 rules for life. And today we're talking about rule number 9. Rule number 9 is you cannot save others if you yourself are drowning. Now, this is something my mother taught me when I was younger. You know, when we are young, we kind of have this like idealistic vision or goal to help everyone and to do whatever we can to help everyone. Now, the problem with this is if we cannot even help ourselves, if we cannot do things for ourselves, how can we help others? Now, don't get this wrong. This isn't me telling you never help anyone else. The concept I want to try and, I suppose, beat through your head is if you yourself are drowning, you can't save other people while you are drowning. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, for example, let's say you are financially in debt. You're struggling. You know, you're about to go bankrupt. You can't go out and start spending your money to help other people because you don't have it. That is kind of what I'm trying to get at. I had a hard time understanding this when I was younger, trying to just help anyone I could with my time. But I emotionally was struggling myself. So I was trying to help other people while I myself was somewhat drowning, I guess is how I would put it. I was emotionally conflicted trying to help others while I was emotionally conflicted. And it's hard to help people that are emotionally conflicted when you yourself are emotionally conflicted. Because then you're going to start feeding off their depression and they're going to feed off your depression. So it's like you're both dragging one another down. Which is kind of a crux of it all. So what can you do? Well, you want to try and focus on yourself as much as possible. And once you're in a good position yourself, then you can start reaching out and trying to help everyone else out. But if you're not in the lifeboat and they're not in the lifeboat and you're trying to help each other, you're just pushing yourselves down into the water and just drowning one another quicker. Because neither of you have a way out of the situation. Now, it's a bit of a struggle because we want to help people. Well, most people do. Most people want to help those around them. Like, if you see homeless on the street, you kind of feel sad at times. And you do want to help them, but if you can't even help yourself, how can you help them? And you might justify it in your mind, well, I give them $1 there, $1 there, $1 here. Yeah, maybe that might help them. Maybe it might not. You never know. You might be furthering their issues, furthering their problems. You don't know if that's truly helping them, and you don't know if it's actually truly helping yourself as well. Sometimes we might be altruistic. Altruistic? I think that's the word. Where we feed off of helping others because we feel it makes ourselves feel good. And that's something you don't want to get into. You don't want to help others just for the sake of making yourself feel better. That's a bad place to be, because then you're just doing it for some kind of validation. You want to help others because you feel it's the right thing to do. You want to help others because you want to make a difference. But in order to actually make a difference, in order to actually help others, you need to first make a difference in yourself. It reminds me of like something I heard from Jordan Peterson, where he says, you want to change the world, but you can't first clean your room. You have to be able to do something simple like that before you can change the world. If you can't even clean your room, for example, how are you going to change the world? It starts with you. You need to figure out for yourself what you can do, how you can do it, before you can start incorporating that to help other people. And that's what I try to do in my life. I try to help others, but I'm trying to help myself first. And if I can go through my problems understand my problems, fix my problems, then I could take that knowledge and that information and then incorporate that to help others. That's my goal in life. You know, I'm not a perfect life coach. I'm not a perfect person. I understand this. Anyone that tries to be perfect, anyone that shows you that they're perfect, they're probably hiding so much. You know, we as people don't know everything. We can't know everything. It's an impossibility. So, as some people tend to make up things as they go along, they tend to make up, concepts and shit. And that's what they try to feed off and show people that they're much higher than everyone else, when in reality, they're struggling with problems just as you're struggling with problems. But they don't want to admit the problems. I have my problems. I work through my problems. And then when I work through the problems and I understand the solution to those problems, I then share those. Because I feel once I can do that, I can help myself, but also help you at the same time. That is how I look at things. So yes, you cannot help others if you yourself are drowning. It's kind of hard because you want to, but the reality is you first have to make sure you're on a solid ground before you reach down and try to pull someone else up. Otherwise, you're just sinking with them. Thank you again for watching.